The story begins with Swagger and his partner Danny, who are tied up on a mountain in Ethiopia, waiting for enemies to arrive. Here, Danny remembers his beautiful wife and tells that next month she is going to attend nursing school. Meanwhile, news comes from their military base camp in Ethiopia that enemy vehicles are about to pass through their area. The very next moment, Danny calculates the wind speed and target distance and tells Swagger. Keeping that in mind, Swagger takes headshots and takes down 2 terrorists without delay. Suddenly, many more vehicles full of terrorists appear on their route, about which even their department officers had no information. They immediately pull back all their soldiers and leave Danny and Swagger there to die. Actually, the work they were getting done by them was illegal, but Danny and Swagger believed they were doing it for their country's peace. On the other hand, after seeing their companions' dead bodies, the terrorists start indiscriminate bombing everywhere, because they had no idea who killed their men or from where. Seeing so many terrorists, Danny tries to contact the base for air support, but they had shut down the radio. Both of them realize they have been left there to die, so somehow, they must escape from there, and just then firing starts from a helicopter. In that attack, Danny gets killed. Swagger somehow shoots the helicopter's rotor and brings it down. 3 years after this incident, Swagger is completely changed. He leaves the department and lives a peaceful life in the jungle with his dog Sam. On the other side, Colonel Isaac Johnson is looking for a shooter for his secret mission, and Swagger's name is at the top. Jack and Doubler tell him that his last assignment did not go well because his agency left him to die. More than 100 terrorists attacked him with air support. According to information, Swagger killed 75 terrorists. The rest ran away in fear, and he survived and escaped. Colonel needed exactly such a shooter. Meanwhile, Swagger is sitting at his home with Sam. Then the colonel arrives there with his platoon. Without talking to them, Swagger refuses to do any work for them. To force him, Jack plans to shoot his dog Sam. Swagger understands their intention and warns that if they even make the mistake of shooting his dog, he will kill them right there. The colonel knew how Swagger could be convinced. He shows him his bravery medal. Swagger was also a patriot, so he agrees to listen to the colonel. The colonel tells him that the president is going to be assassinated. 2 weeks from now, the president will give speeches among people in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. According to intelligence sources, a shooter will kill him. Around him, there will be standard security covering 888 yards, where even a bird cannot fly through. But the information is that the shooter will shoot the president from several miles away. The colonel doubts whether it is even possible to kill someone from such a distance. Swagger says yes, it is absolutely possible. From which location the shooter will fire, only a shooter like him can estimate. That is why the colonel came to Swagger. But Swagger initially refuses. However, the colonel still gives him his number and leaves. After they leave, Swagger thinks for a long time. The next day, he takes out his rifle and places it 1 mile away and aims at it to understand whether it is possible to kill someone from 1 mile away or not. But the shot is perfectly on point. This means it is possible to kill the president even from 1 mile away. He immediately takes all his weapons and inspects all 3 places, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., where the president is going to give speeches. According to him, the best place for sniping among the 3 is Washington, D.C. He gives this information to the colonel and leaves. Soon, the day arrives when the president is going to give a speech in Washington, D.C. The colonel is stationed with his 6 teams at different positions, and besides them, the FBI is also deployed at every street and crossing. Swagger is also keeping watch. On the stage, a famous Ethiopian priest is going to give a speech, and the president is also present beside him. Suddenly, the wind slows down. This is the perfect moment for sniping. Swagger says, "Catch that sniper red-handed. He is about to fire." Just then, an FBI officer shoots Swagger. Meanwhile, that sniper has already shot the president. But Swagger somehow escapes through a window. As soon as he escapes, Swagger's rifle is cleverly planted at the sniping location to frame him. As Swagger runs away, the colonel becomes completely restless, because the entire conspiracy to kill the president was planned by the colonel himself, and Swagger is now the witness. If Swagger survives, everything will be ruined. Meanwhile, Swagger escapes by taking an FBI officer's gun and car. He parks the car at a wash area and somehow manages to stop the bleeding. The FBI is searching for him everywhere like hounds. There is no way to escape. So he puts the car in reverse gear and jumps it into a lake and escapes without being seen. The police keep searching for his dead body. On the other side, Swagger steals another car and goes to a store because he needs supplies for treatment. But on the news, there is discussion about him. So instead of going directly, he takes an aluminum file from the trash, turns off the lights, creates darkness, buys the supplies, and goes to an unknown place to do his temporary treatment. The next day, he goes to his friend Danny's wife, Sarah, for help. But even after recognizing him, she does not want to help him. He tells her that he did not shoot the president. He was framed. Sarah is shocked to learn that the president did not die. Instead, a famous Ethiopian priest was shot. Even then, Sarah cannot refuse him. Swagger gives her a list of items that she must buy from different shops. On the other side, the FBI agent whose gun Swagger took is being interrogated. Nick tells that before taking the gun, Swagger said that he did not shoot the president. Senior officers are involved in this. Nick is then warned that whatever report is prepared, he must repeat it in court so that his job remains safe and everything continues as before. Meanwhile, after bringing the supplies, Sarah knocks him unconscious and performs his operation. During this time, the two of them grow quite close. On the other side, Nick stays awake all night trying to understand how Swagger could miss shooting the president when there was only a 2.5-foot distance between the president and the Ethiopian priest. This fact does not sit right with him, so he himself begins to dig into the inside truth. He began investigating alone to find the truth. Now Swagger had also recovered. To find the colonel's location, he takes Sarah's help. When the first meeting with the colonel happened, under the excuse of looking at the car's heavy engine, Swagger had taken a photo of the vehicle number. That same vehicle number he sends to Nick through Sarah. By giving Nick the vehicle number, Sarah tells him that this is the man who planned the murder of the Ethiopian priest, and then she quickly leaves from there. By then, the FBI recognizes Swagger and attacks him. However, within a few seconds, he takes them down and escapes. Meanwhile, as soon as Nick reaches the office, he checks the vehicle number, but he does not get much information there. So he takes help from his fellow agent Galindo. Galindo calls him and says that everyone has found out that he is secretly gathering information about the president's case, and if this continues, he could get into serious trouble. On the other side, the colonel also comes to know that an FBI agent named Nick is interfering in their work. The very next moment, the colonel's men kidnap Nick and plan his death in such a way that it looks like Nick shot himself with his own pistol. Just at that moment, Swagger arrives in time and shoots all three men one by one, saving Nick. Swagger's gun had a plastic bottle attached instead of a silencer, and this gun had been given to him by Sarah just one day earlier. After being saved, Nick tells Swagger that by contacting the Bureau, he can prove that Swagger did not shoot the Ethiopian priest. But instead of proving his innocence, Swagger wants to selectively kill the colonel and his men because they killed his dog Sam. Nick also agrees to support him because his own life is also in danger. On the other side, the colonel finds out that the FBI agent his men were supposed to eliminate has been saved, and the three men were shot with a rifle. That too from a distance of 200 yards. But the surprising thing was that a .22 rifle's effective range is only 200 meters. They connect the dots and realize that Swagger must still be alive. Meanwhile, Doubler brings Swagger's financial records. It shows that every year, on the death anniversary of his martyred friend Danny, Swagger used his Visa card to send flowers to Danny's wife. And her house was just a few kilometers away from the incident location. Meaning, after getting injured, Swagger must have gone there first. Immediately, on the colonel's signal, Jack heads straight towards Sarah's house. On the other side, Swagger and Nick reach the area's best gunsmith. Swagger asks him if there is any sniper who can make a 2,200-yard cold-bore shot. The gunsmith says that such a shot was made recently, and the sniper's name was Swagger. But the gunsmith does not know that the sniper is sitting right in front of him. Swagger asks if there is anyone else who can make such a shot. The gunsmith says there is one shooter in Russia, but he is imprisoned. Another was in France, but he is dead. And there is a third one who was extremely dangerous. He would kill 4 instead of 1, which created many enemies for him. His hideout was discovered and attacked. He survived, but became crippled. At that moment, Swagger realizes that this crippled shooter was with the colonel all the time. Now Swagger is fully confirmed that it was this disabled shooter who killed the Ethiopian priest. If he can be caught, The reason behind the murder will also be revealed. After leaving from there, Nick gets information about that shooter, Michael Cinder, through Galindo. On the other side, the Colonel tells the Senator that Swagger is still alive. Actually, the Colonel was born from the Senator himself. Everything was happening on the Senator's instructions. The Colonel also realizes that to reach them, Swagger will try to find that shooter. So to trap Swagger, they plan to use Michael as bait. Meanwhile, Sarah is changing clothes to go to sleep. Suddenly, she senses someone inside the house. The very next moment, she shoots one person with a shotgun, but Jack grabs her from behind. On the other side, Agent Galindo finds Michael's location. He is in Virginia. Both agents reach the location provided by Galindo. Swagger senses that this place could be a trap. Still, he prepares fully to attack. He buys all the materials to make bombs from a hardware store and prepares all the bombs in a deserted place. Right there, he also gives Nick sniper training. Meanwhile, Jack is brutally torturing Sarah to find out Swagger's location. Here, they have launched an assault to capture Michael, and Swagger is planting bottle bombs throughout the area, while Nick is giving enemy locations from a distance. Soon, Swagger also spots the crippled sniper Michael. Killing enemies one by one, he reaches him. His first questions are, what is Colonel Johnson's real name? Who does he work for? And what did he gain from killing the Ethiopian priest? Michael reveals that Johnson is an ex-army officer. He held the rank of colonel in the army. After retirement, he started working for the senator. In Ethiopia, the senator had an oil pipeline project going on. But the villagers did not want to vacate their homes and land. That is why 400 villagers were killed and buried. Swagger was also on that same Ethiopia mission, and he was killing those people who were rebelling against the oil pipeline being laid on their village land. This work was illegal. That is why Swagger and Danny were also left there to die. And on the day of the speech, the Ethiopian priest was going to publicly reveal that his entire village had been killed. That is why he was shot before he could speak. At that moment, news comes that they are being surrounded from all sides. Michael says that his girlfriend has also been kidnapped, and the very next moment, Michael shoots himself. Meanwhile, an intense fight breaks out between Swagger and the soldiers. They take everyone down and call the FBI so that the colonel can track them and make contact. The very next moment, the colonel calls, and Swagger plays the recording of the murder of 400 villagers, which he had recorded. In exchange for this tape, a deal is fixed to release his girlfriend. They go to meet at an icy mountain with Sarah. As soon as Swagger is seen approaching, snipers shoot him. Actually, the colonel had already stationed many snipers on the mountain peak. Then the next shot is fired, and that sniper is killed. The one who killed that sniper was none other than Swagger himself. The man who was shot earlier was Nick, who had come wearing an iron plate inside his body armor. Swagger kills all the shooters one by one. Before he can kill both of them, something goes wrong from Sarah's side. She kills Jack. At the same time, the FBI also arrives there. Then Swagger burns the tape, because through that tape, not only those two, but also Nick and Sarah would have been implicated. There, the colonel, Nick, and Sarah all survive, while Swagger is arrested. From here, he is taken and presented before the Attorney General the next day, where he gives a demonstration and explains that he did not shoot the Ethiopian priest. Whenever he steps out, he takes his gun, by changing the firing pin of his gun before leaving. Because of this, even if anyone tried to shoot using his gun, the bullet would not fire. This clearly proved that his gun was planted at the crime scene to frame him. Just then, Nick shows the Attorney General the photographs of the murder of those 400 people carried out in Ethiopia. But even then, nothing happens to the colonel, because he committed the crime in Ethiopia. The government here cannot punish him, and the colonel walks away laughing. The Attorney General releases Swagger and tells him that now he is free, and if he wants, he can punish him in his own way. At night, the senator and the colonel are celebrating their victory. At that moment, Swagger shoots the colonel. Then he kills everyone present there along with the senator and burns all the evidence. After that, he decides to spend the rest of his life with Sarah. And with this, the story comes to an end. If you like this explanation, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.